All right, everyone, welcome. We are in Stellar Blade right now with the 9060 XT. That is the winner from the poll last week. If you'd like to participate in that poll, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell. And you can participate in that poll whenever you get a notification every Sunday around 10 a.m. And that will run for 24 hours until Monday at 10 a.m. And I will collect all that data, and that will determine what GPU I test in the following week. Just a way to kind of open it up to the community and let you guys determine the direction you want to see everything go. I might mix in a few here and there, but that'll be the focus for the week following. All right, so now we are on Stellar Blade. Like I said, we are at 4K. This was tested last week on the 5060 Ti, and I kind of want to see how it holds up in comparison. So right now we're on the lowest preset, and we're not turning on any kind of frame generation or anything like that. So just to come in here and determine what kind of settings will give us a good experience. So just double check right here. We are at 2160p, so 4K. We got vertical sync and all that junk turned off. All this is unlocked and unlimited. All right, so right now graphic preset is low. We're just using the FSR anti-aliasing. And for the most part, everything is just bottomed out. All this stuff for NVIDIA is, of course, locked. And we're just going to go with the anti-aliasing, no upscaling, no frame gen. All right, and so that gives us about 47 FPS, 44 FPS. Again, this is low 4K. So once we get through all the settings, we're going to kick on some of the FSR. I mean, look at the this is what low gets you, folks. Look at that. Wow, looks more like clay than rocks. All right, so let's just keep going up and make this look a lot better. All right, so let's just jump over here to the settings, run through here. Let's kick this up. Nothing else is going to change. So we're just going to ensure that all this looks good still. All this is fine. And we got native anti-aliasing and all that stuff. All right, so everything's just medium now. 30 FPS. I think that's environmental. Yeah, I believe that's just a light flickering. Let's go over here and see what that does for our rock textures. A little bit better, not as lumpy, but still leaving a lot to be desired. All right, so let's check this one out. Yeah, this is pretty low res textures. Definitely not pretty by any means, but I have cleared this area out whenever I tested the 5060 Ti, so I'm just going to kind of stay in the same general area. That way, if you want to go watch that video, which I will link up here right now, you can check that out and kind of just see for yourself which card you'd prefer to go with. But yeah, we're just going to keep going through here. I believe this is going to be an enemy. Nope, it didn't turn into... Sometimes when you hit those statues, they turn into enemies. And this drone thing, that's part of the story. That's actually a guy that is helping me out by flying a drone around. Pretty cool. What is shaking? Everything is just like shaking so much. I'm not sure what just happened. I am doing this with no sound, so once I go edit, I'll probably know what that big sound was. All right, so let's just keep going through the rest of the test. And let's jump over to graphics and go to the high setting. I absolutely love Sony's PC games because you can go through all these settings and it's not like restart, restart, restart. It's so nice to test these Sony exclusives that get ported over to PC. It just, oh man, it makes my heart happy whenever I test one of these Sony exclusives. They just do such a good job. All right, so yeah, I mean our texture's looking a lot better on these rocks. Still not quite great, but better for sure. But yeah, I really like to test Sony's stuff, and I really feel like they take a lot of time between the PlayStation release and the PC release to make sure that it is right. Because I mean, for the most part, I have not run into a situation where Sony games or Sony exclusive games, I call them Sony games. I know other studios are involved, but you know what I mean. PlayStation exclusive games, when they come over to PC, man, I mean, they are just rock solid. They feel really good and they run great. So hats off to them. It's a good thing nowadays because a lot of times you just get developers that want to just shove horsepower at their game and expect you to buy some crazy amount of hardware to run it. All right, so right now I'm very high with no upscaling again. We're at 34 FPS. And again, this is at 4K. So, you know, take this and, kind of figure out what you might from it. But a 4K experience from a $360 card is you can't really beat that. I mean that's pretty good. So yeah, the rocks look a lot better. Oh man, that's so much better. And we are at 33 FPS, but let's just take it up one notch. Let's turn on some upscaling and see what that does for us. So I'm going to go over to settings, graphics, and of course we're going to run down here. We're going to use the AMD stuff. Of course, we're on an AMD card. Okay, let's see, where is it? There it is. All right, so we're going to go to quality. And of course, nothing else has changed. And that gives us a 60-ish almost experience right there. So you're looking at 60 FPS if you just kick on that quality at the very high setting. Now this game does not ship with any sort of path tracing or ray tracing or anything like that. So there's no settings like that available to us. But as far as the game itself, it looks incredibly good. I mean, this is a really nice experience. Again, at 4K, you're getting 60 FPS with just that one little caveat of using quality FSR. I mean, that's pretty good. And this is a brand new game, for PC, and it runs really well. So let's just keep going and see what we can do as far as some more of the FSR settings. On 4K, you can get away with like going all the way down to performance without without losing any kind of visual fidelity. At least that's my experience with DLSS. So I'm going to see what that does for us over here, because I'd really love to be able to really get some nice high frame rate before we do any kind of frame generation. So that gives us, so balanced gives us about 65 FPS on average. It looks like it might get close to 70 depending on where you're at. But again, that VRAM allocation is doing fine. We got 16 on this card. Thank you, AMD, for not being stingy with your VRAM like some other company. But yeah, this is a really, really good experience. I like the way this looks. And I like the way it feels. Again, I'm on a controller. And unfortunately, I do not have the ability to get any sort of latency software overlay to work at all. If anyone knows how to get AMD's, the Radeon software to work, it has an option for the latency, but again, it doesn't do anything in any game I've tested. So if I'm doing something wrong, please let me know in the comments below. All right, so otherwise it feels fine, and you're not going to have any latency issues if your base frame rate's in the 60s anyway. You're going to have it's going to feel pretty good. All right, so let's just hop up here, just kind of get some more. Again, I've kind of been over here already, just to kind of get some more stuff to load in and show you guys what all is involved in this dystopian city I'm in right now. But yeah, anyway, let's just keep on going and jump over to the performance setting. So this will be performance FSR, and it's going to probably be where I stop on the FSR stuff, because again, I don't want it to be just like awful looking. All right, so yeah, it still looks really nice. We're at 75 FPS, and looks just as good as quality did to me. I mean, I'm sure if you zoom in and 10x and side by side and look at frame by frame and all that, you'll be able to tell the difference. But that's not why I play games. I'm just trying to give you guys the best experience on how the game was intended to be viewed, which is about 2 feet away. So yeah, that's what I'm doing, and that's how I'm judging it. So you won't ever see me like zoom in and pixel peep and all that stuff in any of these videos. So that's just not the thing. That's not my thing. I'll put it that way. Plenty of people do that. But anyway, you're at 76 FPS, and let's just kick on some frame generation and see what we can do. So I'm going to go back to that quality setting, so we can get a nice clean test, as I call it. So we're going to go quality here, and then frame generation will be turned on. All right, so we have restarted, and that jumped us from high 50s, low 60s to 91 FPS. So that looks really good. This again is quality FSR, and this is an extremely good way to play it. You're at 4K, you're getting over 100 FPS. Your response rate is nice because your base frame rate is a nice high frame rate, I wish I could show the PCL, I just can't get anything to cooperate with me. But I can tell you right now, this is a very fine, nice, responsive experience with these particular settings. I'm going to just go through the rest of the FSR settings for people who do want to see it. I don't really see the need to drop that far down on a game like this, but just to make it a nice, well-rounded test, going to do that. Our rock looks good. That's nice. We got some nice textures over here. All right, so let me do that. I'm just going to drop it down to the balanced preset, and then we're going to go down again to the performance preset. So this is balanced with frame generation. That gets you close to 100. So you're at 98. Okay, there's 100, 101, 103. So 4K with the 9060 XT on this title is a very nice experience. You can absolutely get away with quality and the very high preset. No problem at all. And yeah, it plays well, very responsive, looks great. No problems at all with running it. The frame rate's good. The frame time graph is flat. Again, whatever it is that Sony does, they take their time and get them over to PC in a very meticulous, well thought out way, because you don't ever really see a bunch of issues with running a game when it's from a Sony studio title like this. So hats off to them again. I can't say enough. I just really appreciate a nicely performing game, especially on like some pretty basic hardware like this. I mean, you're talking a $360 card with 4K resolution here. This is pretty nice. All right, so I'm just going to drop it over to performance, and then we're going to wrap the test up. I'm going to go ahead and I know exactly how I would play this. I've probably already hinted at that, but just let's see what performance does. So performance gives you 119 FPS with that frame generation. Now, we're not doing any kind of 4X or 3X like, on NVIDIA stuff. I don't think you need it, though. If you're into this kind of game, then I think this is going to be a pretty good experience with this card. You can save some money. You're not going to get the multi-frame gen, but you could jump in and, there are ways to get multi-frame gen on games that don't support it. But yeah, for the most part, this is a good experience. I mean, this is fine. So I'm going to just go over here and show you exactly how I would play it. And you probably already know. I would just leave this frame generation turned on. I would run it at quality. I do want to see what it would do at native, though. Let's just see what it does at native. This is native with frame generation turned on. Not quite 60. So yeah, I'm glad I kind of thought of that, because there might be some folks that do want to see that, but it is a little bit not hitchy or anything like that. You can just tell that your base frame rate isn't that great. When you're running around doing this kind of thing, you can tell a lot of it are B frames, which are the generated frames. So I would just run this game exactly like this. Come over here. Jump over here, and we're going to just kick on the quality and leave our frame generation turned on at very high. And this is how I would play it. 93 FPS, 4K, affordable card. And this runs very well, which tells me that, on games like Cyberpunk that have a lot of crashes and stuff, this isn't necessarily the card's fault whenever you see that kind of stuff, because there are games out there that don't have those issues, that don't just eat your resources alive and give you random crashes for no reason. I really wish that more studios would focus on performance and stability rather than trying to rush something out the door as fast as they can and then just patch it to death the next 2 years, because it's annoying. But this game is not one of them. It runs really well on this hardware. And yeah, with that said, please subscribe, participate in the poll. It goes out every Sunday at 10 a.m. and we will see you in the very next video. Thank you.